Welcome back to Kitchen Wisdom. Grab your coffee, or maybe a cookie, because today we're diving into one of my favorite, most used, and sometimes most stubborn kitchen staples, royal icing. You know, that glossy, picture-perfect frosting that makes cookies look like they belong in a bakery window. Gorgeous, yes, but also a bit of a diva. If you've ever made royal icing, you know exactly what I mean. 1 minute it's smooth and shiny, the next it's crusting up like it's got an attitude. And trust me, I've had my share of royal icing tantrums over the years. But once you learn how to store it right, life in the kitchen gets a lot easier. And that's what we're chatting about today, how to store royal icing the right way so it stays soft, smooth, and ready to go, whether you're decorating cookies for a few hours or planning your big Christmas cookie marathon weeks in advance. Let's start with what makes royal icing such a character. It's just 3 ingredients: egg whites or meringue powder, powdered sugar, and water. But somehow it behaves like it has feelings. Too dry, and it hardens faster than you can grab your piping bag. Too wet, and it slides right off your cookie like it's running away from responsibility. I always say, royal icing reminds me of my daughter's glitter collection. Once it's out in the open, it gets everywhere, and you're cleaning it for days. So, rule number 1, never leave it uncovered. Even a few minutes of exposure and it'll start drying on top. Once that crust forms, no amount of mixing will save it. If you want to know how to dry royal icing properly, I actually have a full blog post on my site where I walk you through the process step by step. It covers drying times, humidity tips, and how to avoid cracks. It's super helpful if you're getting ready to decorate cookies for the holidays. If you're decorating cookies the same day, the easiest way to keep your icing happy is to cover it with plastic wrap, pressed right against the surface. I mean really touching it, no gaps, no air bubbles. Then pop a lid on the bowl. This prevents a crust from forming and keeps the icing nice and glossy. Here's a personal trick I use all the time. When I'm working with multiple colors, I divide them into small airtight containers or piping bags. I twist the ends tight and secure them with bag clips. You know, the same ones that keep your chips fresh. They work perfectly for icing too, and please don't leave them sitting in direct sunlight. I learned that the hard way when my once vibrant red icing turned into sad pink halfway through decorating. Not my finest moment. Now, if you're prepping icing ahead of time, like I do every holiday season, here's what works best. Scoop your icing into airtight containers, smooth the top, and press plastic wrap right onto the surface before sealing the lid. Label it with the date and color. I'm a Sharpie girl, naturally, and store it in the fridge. It'll last for about a week, and when you're ready to use it again, you might notice some separation. A little liquid floating on top. That's perfectly normal. Just stir it or re-whip it gently and it'll be as good as new. I usually do this right in the middle of my Christmas baking marathon. If you've followed me for a while, you already know this is my favorite time of the year. My kitchen turns into what looks like a cookie factory. Mixers going, timers beeping, the smell of cinnamon and ginger everywhere. I bake in stages, dough one day, baking the next, and decorating when the icing is ready. That's where this whole icing storage routine really saves me. Having everything prepped and labeled means I can just grab what I need, warm up my coffee, and start decorating without digging through a mess of bowls and spoons. And speaking of labeling, trust me, don't skip it. I've learned that lesson the hard way. Once, I grabbed what I thought was white icing for snowflakes. only to realize it was actually lemon glaze for a pound cake. Let's just say the result looked festive, but tasted confusing. If you open your container after a few days and see that little layer of liquid on top, don't panic. It's not ruined, it's just separated, kind of like we all do after a long week. A gentle stir or quick re-whip will bring it right back to life. One year, during my Christmas baking marathon, I'm talking 5 different gingerbread cookie flavors, plus fudge and peppermint bark. I forgot to seal my icing container properly before collapsing into bed. The next morning, I found what looked like a fossilized sugar rock. I tried to salvage it, but nope. It was so hard I could have used it as a doorstop or a holiday decoration. So take it from me. Airtight means airtight. If you're a planner like me and bake in stages for the holidays, freezing royal icing is a lifesaver. I start my Christmas cookie baking around late October. Yes, really. And freeze my icing in batches. Just portion it into freezer-safe bags, flatten them out, label, and date. When you're ready to use it, thaw it overnight in the fridge. Then let it come to room temperature before re-whipping. This trick saves me during my annual Christmas cookie marathon. You know, when my kitchen turns into Santa's frosting factory, I bake and freeze cookies in one stage, prep and freeze icing in another, and then decorate at the end when I can actually enjoy it with a cup of coffee instead of panic baking at midnight. I go into more detail about how I plan all of that in another podcast, so definitely check that one out if you want your holidays to be less chaos and more cheer. Oh, and one more freezer tip. Don't stack the bags while they're still soft. I once made that mistake and ended up with what looked like a rainbow-colored lasagna. Pretty? Yes. Usable? Not so much. All right. Let's talk about what not to do, because I've done it all so you don't have to. Don't refrigerate uncovered icing. It'll dry out faster than leftover pie. Don't store it with metal utensils still in the bowl, because the metal can react and discolor it. And for the love of buttercream, don't leave royal icing near a warm oven. It'll melt into sugary soup before you can say royal mess. Also, if your icing dries out, resist the urge to pour in a ton of water to fix it. Add a few drops at a time while mixing. Trust me, 1 second, you have icing that's too stiff. The next, it's soup. Patience is your best friend here. So, confession time. I keep my royal icing right next to my cookie dough in my upright Gladiator garage freezer. It's temperature resistant and perfect for my baking setup. Around Christmas, that freezer looks like it belongs in a bakery. Every shelf is filled with dough, icing, and baked cookies waiting for their big debut. And yes, I label everything with my trusty Sharpie. Black marker, bold letters, color, and date. It's my personal kitchen language. And let's be honest, icing colors have a mind of their own. I start with red, green, and white, and somehow end up with 7 shades of pink. My daughter usually has something to do with that. We'll be decorating together, and before I know it, she's turned my cookie station into a full art studio. It's chaos, but it's our kind of chaos. And honestly, I wouldn't trade it for anything. So here's the bottom line. Keep royal icing airtight. Keep it cool, label it clearly, and treat it with care. Do that, and it'll stay glossy and perfect whenever you need it. Royal icing might act like a diva, but once you understand her, she'll perform beautifully every time. If you want to see exactly how I store, thaw, and bring royal icing back to life, check out my video tutorial on Arina Photography YouTube. And if you're already planning your holiday baking marathon like me, head to my blog for my full Christmas cookie guide, plus all the royal icing recipes you could ever need. Because at the end of the day, royal icing isn't just frosting, it's the finishing touch that makes your cookies shine. And once you learn how to store it right, it'll never break your heart or your piping bag again.